Our next guest is known the world over as Agatha Christie's favourite detective. In fact, he's probably known as Hercule Poirot than by his real name. Please welcome David Suchet.
Very nice. Very nice. Hello. Nice.
Welcome. It's lovely to have you on our show.
It's lovely to be here. Thank you.
You've played Hercule 74 times, I think.
I think it's about 74
Yes.
films, yes.
What was it like to have played a character for so long? 25 years you've played this character. Did he take your life over?
Well, in a sense, yes, he did. And he gave me a new life because he gave me a much higher profile than I had before. But because I didn't do it every single year, I had great gaps. So I was able to do lots of other theatre work and film work as well. So it gave me a varied career.
I've seen you in some of your other roles on television, and I look at you and I think, oh, I know the voice. And then you think, but where's his Belgian voice? Because how do you shake off a character like that when it's been such a crucial part of your life?
Well, because I'm very fortunate. That's what I am. I'm a character actor. I'm not a personality player. So I have very rarely ever played just me.
Is it a real moustache?
I wish it was. It's not, I'm afraid, no.
So that's a stick-on moustache when you're doing Poirot?
Yes. And I could never get it like that on a daily basis. If I was to grow it myself, it wouldn't work.
A lot of people don't realise that this gentleman has a very famous brother who's a newsreader.
Yeah.
And sometimes they switch roles and his brother reads the news with a moustache on. And
well, we do that for charity, actually,
Yeah.
and for Red Nose Days and children's work, yeah.
And wherever you are in the world, because you've just been... I can't believe this is your first time in Australia.
First time in Australia. What a wonderful country. I'm so pleased to have
What do
been
you think
here.
so far?
Well, I think it's extraordinary. I think it's one of the world's hidden secrets.
Well, don't tell anyone.
I'm not going to. But what I can't believe is that, you know, I come from London where there are 14 million people and people say that Melbourne and Sydney are very crowded. It's not. I mean, it's wonderful here.
And you liked Perth?
Very much. I like everywhere I've been.
Well, you open in Sydney in your play that's brought you here, The Last Confession?
The Last Confession, yes.
You play a cardinal.
I play a cardinal,
Benelli.
Giovanni Benelli. All the characters in the play existed, but it really centres around the mysterious death of John Paul I in 1978. He was only Pope for 33 days. And I don't know if, well, a lot of people here, I'm sure, will remember it was a catastrophic day when the world thought that he might have even been poisoned.
Does a play draw any conclusions?
We're not allowed to draw the final conclusion, but I think it's fairly obvious where the playwright Roger Crane would like you to think.
I love a good conspiracy theory.
It is a really good...
Was he poisoned?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's got everything.
Well, my character thinks so.
Right.
But you've been followed around the world. I mean, like, as Harry Potter stars and various actors who are famous for that character. You've had people all over the world have suddenly come into restaurants and cafes and gone, I know you.
Yeah.
You're Poirot.
Yeah. Yeah, the best was in Newfoundland when my back was towards the door. I was right at the other end of the cafe and the woman came and said, I'd know the back of that head anywhere. I've never had that.
And is it correct that Agatha Christie's daughter gave you a tick of approval?
Yeah, that was actually a very high, one of the big high points for me in my whole career as Poirot, because I knew that Agatha Christie herself was fairly unhappy about all the actors that have ever portrayed her characters, and she never saw mine. So I was always nervous and always being asked on chat shows, what do you think Agatha Christie would think of it? And I say, I never knew. But the day that Rosalind Hicks, her daughter, came to me and said, in a very formal way, I have to tell you that my mother would have been absolutely delighted.
Fantastic.
And because it was formal, it just made me well up.
What about getting a proper job one day, though? Because all you lovies, you whiz around the world and you do a character and you work on the script and you get all your head together. What about a proper job?
Do you know what? I think I'm one of the most lucky people in the world to be able to play in a sandpit and give pleasure to people all around the world. I think that's a very proper job.
Especially when they come up and say, I know the back of that head anyway.
Yeah. If it pleases, if it gives pleasure, on any level at all. And the fact that I'm given this great big sandpit to play in, what a lucky man I am.
Am I right in thinking that your wife is appearing in The Last Confession?
Yes, she is, and that's the first time. And we actually have a wonderful scene together. And it's the first time we've appeared together since 1976.
Wow.
Wow.
We were just babies then.
So was I.
And I mean, is she a nun is she a nun in this? Because
Yeah, she doesn't look like it in the picture, does she?
It looks very Catholic. It looks very Catholic. The Last Confession.
Yes,
Your wife plays a nun.
Yes, she plays the only woman role in the play, actually.
And it's interesting timing with the play, considering what's going on with the
Well,
Catholic Church
John
at the
Paul
moment.
I was the big radical,
Yes.
was going to be the big radical pope, the reforming pope after the huge Vatican II. And he was going to look at contraception, artificial birth control, you know, women he was going to go through the whole gamut of change for the Catholic Church, and in 33 days he was dead. And here we have Pope Francis. John Paul I was known as the People's Pope, a parish priest. Pope Francis is known as the People's Pope,
Yes.
almost like a parish priest. They're almost mirroring each other. And I was in the Vatican recently because I did a documentary on the life of St. Peter, the Apostle Peter. And I spoke to some cardinals who at that time, that was about 9 months ago, they were all concerned about Pope Francis's safety.
And they're going,
because of John Paul I.
We know you're the guy that's doing that play.
Actually, they didn't. They said,
They do now.
something's happened. Will you stay around, please? Because I know you play Poirot.
David, we've loved having you on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Good
for
luck with the
having me.
show.
Thank you very much. All the details for The Last Confession are on our website.
You don't love your brother.